I'd like to give our audience a chance to ask questions.
All right.
The first question is, have you encountered deadlock thrashing on the publisher?
Yes. I think, Jerry, you might be able to speak to that a little bit better than I can, but I know we have seen that on the publisher. And would you like to answer that? What we did to fix it?
Early on, we would see, pacing through the X-admin tool and Clark's programs would see that the updates were not getting through to the subscriber. So, early on, we did see a lot of a buildup on the publisher, but we've relieved that by excluding some busy files that are not important and, creating the file level groups and splitting stuff up a little better. But yeah, we did see some overhead early on.
One of the things that we noticed is that dynamic files seem to wreak havoc on the replication sometimes. So and luckily for us, we don't use a lot of dynamic files, and the ones that we do use are relatively considered temporary files. So we basically, like Jerry said, exclude those from replication. But for some reason, dynamic files seem to get stuck more than regular hash files do.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Clark. The next question is, I believe, for Rocket, and this is either you, Christine, or we've also got our advanced tech support, Neil Morris. And the question is, what's the difference between immediate and real-time replication?
Yeah, I will take that one. Basically, with immediate replication, once the publisher has written the record and has been put into the replication buffers, then the publisher process will continue running. With real-time replication, it actually waits for the update to be applied on the subscriber before the publisher process moves on. While that guarantees the update is done on the subscriber before the publisher moves on, experience shows that the performance impact of that is usually too high. So all users run with the immediate replication setting.
Great, thanks so much, Neil. Clark, Jerry, another one for you. What's the volume of data and changes you deal with in your implementation of replication?
So we have 4 main systems that handle our point of sale, and we have with all the showrooms and with the salespeople use tablets. So each salesperson, we have a sales force of, well, not all on staff at the same time, but any given time we have a few thousand salespeople, and they're all accessing Universe via Azure. So there's a lot of record updates. There's probably, I don't know, Jerry, if you remember what the count with the X-admin would be, but I would guess that we have hundreds of thousands of changes every day that's going through replication when you think about all the different activities that are going on. Universe also supports our distribution center. So we have, like I said earlier, we have 10 million square feet of warehouse space, and that's all filled with furniture. So every time somebody moves a piece from one location to another, or it gets loaded on a truck or gets received into the warehouse, that's a hit to Universe, and that's of course a replication out to the subscriber. It's very busy and nonstop, and really 24/7, because we have a website as well, and they operate 24/7. So obviously our busiest times is during the day, but never stops.
Are Rooms to Go planning to use the multi-value performance?
We have it in beta mode where we're monitoring some test systems or monitoring some of our dev systems. We haven't gotten 11.4.1 on production systems yet. I think we're planning to do that next month or two. But yes, we are planning to include that. I know we have some custom monitoring, but we still use the X-admin tool sometimes when we're troubleshooting, and I think that MVX will replace that and give us a little bit more alerts and notifications. So yeah, we're excited to use that.
And one other thing I want to add to that, just for us, because we have so many different systems involved in our ERP, we're really looking forward to being able to couple this all into our current alert system notification system, which is Orion. So obviously the MVX and all that's going to be great, but ultimately we're really excited about being able to actually use our alerting system and have the replication system tie into it directly, which will come later.
All right, I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing. Let's see, I've got another question. I've got a customer and they are running Universe on Red Hat, and he wants to know if we have any best practices around running Universe in Azure. And he's thinking sizing, disk type, etc.
Well, from a rooms to go perspective, we do have a little bit of experience, right, Jerry? We set up a system in Azure that we're toying around with, so it's nowhere near production ready, but we do have a little bit of it. We're getting our feet wet with it, so maybe you can speak to. I know we're using Rocky for our flavor, right?
Yeah, we standardized on Rocky Linux. We have a test system on there where we're testing how to convert from AIX to Linux, to the big Indian, the little Indian. So we're just starting to get our feet wet with a
Yeah,
Linux.
one of the biggest things that kept us from moving a little faster, we're not ready yet anyway, but is that big Indian, little Indian thing. And Finuxi is the command you have to use on all the files. And so basically we have to figure out the best way to Finuxi all the files when we move from AIX to Linux.
Thank you. Neil, I'm going to guess this one is for you. On subscriber systems, what rights, and that's WRITES, are allowed?
Yes. Well, by default, the subscribe files are read-only for users other than the replication writers. However, the replication has the ability to configure the subscribe files as sub-writable so that non-replication writer processes could also update the subscribe files.
And then let's see, Clark, you referred to some new replication tools in Universe 11.4.1.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily new tools. They're actually new options to the tools that we've had. So the UV Rep admin, we've added a skip option to that tool. And then we've also added the enhancement to the UV Rep manager, where you don't need to start and stop Universe when you are updating the UV Rep manager.
And also, if there's a stuck LSN, it sounds like it's going to deal with that a lot better. And that's something that we have encountered. So we're looking forward to that.
All right, I hope that helps. Let's see, the next one is, if indexes aren't replicated, do you do anything on the subscriber side to always build indexes?
Yeah, the indexes themselves are not passed across as part of the replication update, but the indexes do get updated on the subscriber just as part of the normal write operation to the data file. So the comment in the slide about the indexes not being replicated was basically that they're not passed across in the replication log, but the index file does get updated just as part of the normal write on the subscriber.
One other thing I could mention to that is that for us, because we have a lot of hash files, we do, periodically do file maintenance, resizing and things like that, and then creating indexes here and there. And as Neil said, we don't have any problem with the indexes updating, but you just have to remember, if you create a new index on the publisher, you have to go to subscriber and do it. But it's also the same thing with resizing. If you're a customer that has a lot of hash files and you're accustomed to resizing files on your production systems, you're going to have to make sure you do it twice. You got to do it on subscriber too. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad day when you shift over to your subscribers and all your files are out of size.
All right, sounds like good advice. Thanks, Clark. All right, I love all the Q&A here. And thanks again to our special guests, Clark and Jerry. You've added so much great info to this webinar. I really appreciate you joining us.